Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about combat zones, mainly comparing Dext base from Stia with Retem Alnothe. Because I know a lot of people are wondering which combat zone is more efficient, which place should you be farming, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of each combat zone. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to talk about is Dext base over here, because I did farm in Dext base throughout PSO2 day, and I just want to show you the results of 3 hours farming in Dext base on PSO2 day, so I did have that extra rare drop rate. But if we come over here to run personal shop and view sales, you can see that I earned a total of 3.6 million Meseta in the span of 3 hours while farming in Dext base. However, I did have the help of all those boosters. So I did get extra fixa drop rate, I did have 100% rare drop rate, and of course, my character was extremely lucky. So the main things I want to show off is over here with the Tenebro rifle. I was able to sell this for 1.5 mil, I believe, and after taxes, it's 1.35. So this was a fixa 4 Terminal rifle, and then above here we had a Tenebro daggers, which I sold for 1 million, so we got 900,000 from this. This was actually a fixa Terminal level 5 daggers. For some reason, apparently nobody really cares about Terminal or the daggers, so it went for really cheap. And last but not least was a rugged sword with the fixa attack 1, which I sold for 500,000 because apparently nobody really wants rugged weapons anymore. Of course, we also have a Tenebro launcher over here for 200k. This was a fixa 3 Fatale, so it was pretty nice. Fatale, a lot of people want that. Unfortunately, it was only fixa 3, which is why it only went for 200,000. And then of course I sold all of my Ultracrata Force, which also net me quite a good sum of money. So let us collect all of this right now, and boom, you can see we are now at 4.5 million on my ship 3 character, which is very nice. So now that I've talked about my experience in Dext base, the next place I want to talk about is going to be Retem Alnothe. So I farmed Retem Alnothe rank 1 with Elena's group yesterday for 3 hours, and I actually earned a substantial amount of Meseta. I made almost 2 million raw Meseta by just farming Retem Alnothe rank 1. However, my main focus yesterday was to farm up seasonal points. I didn't really care about the Meseta, that was kind of like a side project. The main thing I needed was just a ton of seasonal points, and this is why I did rank 1. However, if you care about Meseta, so you want to get seasonal points but you also want a lot of Meseta, then Retem rank 3 is where you should be farming for, because you will make more Meseta per enemy killed in rank 3 versus rank 1. And since all the mobs are level 40 in rank 3 compared to rank 1 where they're level 20, they're still all gonna die in like 1 to 2 hits anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. So if you care about Meseta gains, then yes, rank 3 is gonna give you more Meseta in Retem Alnothe. So let's come back to the original question, which combat zone is better, Dext base or Retem Alnothe? It really depends on what you are farming for as well as what features you have unlocked. So for example, Retem Alnothe is freaking amazing. Rank 3 is going to net you a ton of Meseta. However, the catch is you need auto sell. If you do not have auto sell, then unfortunately you will not make as much money versus someone who does have auto sell. The main reason for this is because if you have auto sell, the items that get sold automatically benefit from the Meseta boost. So remember all of those plus 50% Meseta boosters that you're getting from your mission pass? Those do not affect the items that you just drag out of your inventory and sell. It does not apply the 50% booster onto those items. However, if you have auto sell and you're selling all of your silver prim swords and all of the other random stuff, it does apply that 50% booster, which over the course of several hours is going to net you a lot more Meseta versus a free-to-play player who has to sell everything manually and not gain the Meseta boost. So the main catch for Retem Alnothe is if you want to farm as optimized as possible, you are going to need auto sell. However, does this mean that the free-to-play players are totally cucked? No, you still make the most raw Meseta in Retem Alnothe if that is all you care about. Because keep in mind, free-to-play players do not have access to the player market. You have to rely on your mission pass where you get your 3-day shop pass every single month, so you can't freely use the market all the time, so you are limited in your Meseta gains that way. But now let's talk about Dext base. Personally, I think Dext base is amazing if you are a premium member or if you've popped a 3-day shop pass. From my personal experience, I've seen a lot more rare items as well as items with high fixes drop in Dext base more often than in Retem Alnothe. However, as I said earlier, you will need a 3-day shop pass or be a premium member to even sell any of these items. Now, does that mean Dext base is only for people who like to gamble and like RNG? Not really, because something that Dext base offers is Alt Secreta 4s. I get a lot more Alt Secreta 4s when I farm in Dext base. Now, another benefit of Dext base is if you are in a public group, so you're just joining a random room with random players, and there might be people who do not know the quote-unquote efficient way to farm for PSE burst. In Dext base, it's perfectly fine to just follow the group and farm the E's and T's and just follow the pack and do whatever everyone else is doing because of the HP. The HP of the mobs in Dext base are relatively high, so it might not be as efficient to split up in order to fill out the PSE gauge. The reason why that strategy is so effective in Retem Alnothe is because all of the mobs in Retem Alnothe have very low HP pools other than the bosses themselves, and the bosses only spawn during trials as well as PSE burst, so it's no big deal. So you can split up and kill all the mobs very efficiently, even with very subpar gear. However, Dext base on the other hand, the mobs are a little bit more tankier and a little bit more annoying to deal with, and there are those special trials where you have to find the dazzle pods, so it's a little bit more dynamic. So if you're a solo player with no friends, Dext base is pretty forgiving in the sense that you can play however the heck you want, and it's not going to affect the team's efficiency as much compared to Retem Alnothe. But as I said earlier, you will need to pop a 3-day shop pass or be a premium member in order to take advantage of the player shop if you are farming in Dext base, because that is the only way you can sell all of your Alt Secreta 4s as well as all the other rare items that can drop in Dext base. So in conclusion, if you are a free-to-play player, you want to farm in Retem Alnothe rank 3 or rank 1, mainly because you're going to earn raw meseta that way. So you don't need to rely on your 3-day shop pass and the player market to make money, you're just making raw meseta and it goes directly into your account and you're good to go. However, if you want to make even more raw meseta, make sure that you have auto sell. Auto sell is very expensive if you're to buy it with star gems, however you do get a default if you have premium. So you are going to need to make the judgment call. If you play a lot of PSO2, then sure, you can spend the star gems, buy the auto sell, and it will pay off itself if you farm enough. As for Dext base, it is a really good combat zone for pug groups, so let's say that you don't have any friends or you don't have an organized group, Dext base is very forgiving. If you're in a group of people who don't know how to farm PSE burst efficiently, or they simply don't want to do it, you know, you can just go to Dext base, you can pug with random people, and you're still going to be relatively fine, because the main source of money that you make from Dext base is going to be from your Alt Secreta 4s as well as the rare drop items themselves. But the catch with Dext base is you are going to need to pop a 3-day shop pass or have premium in order to gain access to the player shop in order to sell all of your rare items to make the majority of your meseta. Now, if you only care about farming for seasonal points, I prefer Retem Alnothe rank 1 because everything has super low HP and you can just sneeze in their general direction and they will all fall over. So that is where I farm if you only care about seasonal points. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome, for the heals, the boosts, the rest.